Good day, everyone. So for today, we're up to the second type of variation. So last time we have discussed direct variation, wherein the two quantities are directly proportional, or the two quantities directly varies each other. So for today, we're gonna have inverse variation. So what you'll learn in this discussion is we have to state whether two quantities are directly or inversely related. And the second one is we have to solve problems on inverse variation. And the third one is we have to discuss how a change in one of two inversely related quantities related to each other. So we have here an opening problem, and I wanted you to think of it, reflect on it, okay? Because later on, I'll be explaining the relationship of these two quantities. So first, Jeffrey and Joy are siblings who live in the same house and go to school by the same route. So the first question is, Joy walks to school while Jeffrey runs. Who will reach the school first and why? Second question is, if Joy and Jeffrey run to school at the same time, would they reach the school at the same time? Justify your answer. The third one is, how does the speed at which one travels related to time it takes to travel a certain distance? Alright? So in this case, okay, in the situation presented, as the speed one travels increases, the time it takes to reach one's destination decreases. So kapag pag bumibilis ka sa pagta-travel mo, umuunti yung time na nagagamit mo to reach that destination. So conversely, as the speed decreases, the time increases. In this case, we can say that the time are inversely related to each other. The time and the distance are inversely related to each other. Okay, so let's move forward with this example number one. So we have to decide whether the two quantities in this situation are directly or inversely related, and we have to explain why. So we have here a set of um, sentences, and we'll see and we'll identify rather what is quantity 1, what is the quantity 2, what is the kind of relationship do they have, and we have to explain why. So first is the side of the square is related to its perimeter. Number two is the number of people sharing a pizza is related to the size of the slice each person gets. Number three is the age of used car is related to the price the owner can get for it. And number four is the time a painter paints a wall is related to the area of the wall painted. So first is the side of square is related to its perimeter. So let's identify what is quantity number one and what is the quantity number two. So quantity number one, so again, the side of the square is related to its perimeter. So we can say that our quantity number one is the side of the square. The side of the square. While our quantity number two is its perimeter. And the kind of the relationship do they have is direct. Why direct? As the side or the length increases, the perimeter also increases. Diba when we are talking with the square, kapag humahaba yung isang side niya, ibig sabihin, lalaki din yung perimeter niya. So, if the side or the length of the side increases, therefore, the perimeter also increases. Kung bababa naman siya, if the side of the square decreases, therefore, the perimeter will also decrease. Alright, next is the number of people sharing a pizza is related to the size of the slice each person get. So, what would be our quantity number one? Ano ba yung pinag-uusapan natin dito? We are talking about first with the number of people sharing a pizza. So, let's have quantity number one as number of people. And our quantity number two is, ano ba yung makukuha nila? It's the size of slice. ng each pizza. So let's have slice or size of slice. So what do you think is the kind of relationship do these quantities have? So it is inverse. Okay, why inverse? So as the number of people sharing the pizza increases, the size of the slices, each one gets decreases. Kapag dumami kayo naghati-hati sa isang pizza, may tendency na yung slice na makukuha mo o yung part na makukuha mo is mas maliit sa dapat na makukuha mo. So, kung 4 lang kayo, therefore you can get 1/4 of the pizza. But kung magiging 8 kayo, so what are you gonna have is 1/8 of that pizza. So, instead na lumalaki din, lumiliit. The more, if the number of the people increases, therefore the size of slice will decrease. Kung the number of the people decreases, therefore the size of the slice increases. Okay, therefore it is an inverse. Okay, they are inversely proportional or they are inversely directed with each other. Next one, the age of car is related to the price owner can get it. So again, what are the two quantities that we are talking about? First is the age of the car. So we have age of car, and the other quantity that we are talking about is the price. The price the owner can get it. So the price. So what is the relationship of these two? So they are inverse with each other. Why? Because as the age of the car or as the age of used car increases, the price the owner can get for it decreases because the price of the car depreciate as it goes along. Kung tatanda yung car mo, magde-depreciate yung value niya. What does depreciate means? Bababa yung value niya, uunti yung value niya. Okay, kung nabili mo yung car mo ng let's say 1 million pesos and then tumagal siya ng 5 years sa'yo and you wanted to sell it, hindi mo na siya 1 million mabebenta. Maybe you can sell it for like 750,000 or whatsoever. So, kapag tumatanda yung car mo, as the age of the car increases, the price decreases. Okay? And lastly, we have the time a painter paints a wall is related to the area of the wall painted. So, again, the two quantities that we are talking about is the time to paint. Okay, time to paint. Saan ba ito kino-compare? It's with the area of the wall. Okay, area of the wall. Okay, so that relationship do they have is direct. So, bakit ba natin nasabi na direct? It's because the more time a painter spends painting a wall, okay, the greater the wall, the greater the area of the wall that is being painted. So, kapag mas malaki yung pinipaint mo, mas malaking time din yung magagamit mo. Let's say, for example, you're gonna paint lang yung one paper size, di ba? Mas mabilis. But, if you're gonna paint like yung malaking ball, mas malaking time or mas maraming time yung kailangan mong gamitin. Okay? So, the relationship between the length and the width of the rectangle in the activity is an example of inverse variation. So, as x increases in the value, y decreases in the value. So, we have here inverse variation. Let x and y denotes two quantities. Y varies inversely as x, or y varies inversely proportional to x. If there is a non-zero constant k, such that y is equal to kx, the number k is called the constant of variation. We still have here k, wherein it's still the constant of variation. Again, the formula for inverse variation is y is equal to kx. Okay, so let's move forward with example number 2. So, example number 2, it's a car is traveling a distance of 120 kilometers. So, how long will it take the car to reach the destination it travels at the speed of 20 kilometers per hour, 40 kilometers per hour, 60 kilometers per hour, and 80 kilometers per hour. And what we have to do is we have to graph it. Okay? So let's have the solution. So since, okay, time we have here the formula for time. Time is equal to the distance over the rate. So we can have the following values. So we have here the values, the rate. So it's the kilometer per hour. And we also have the time. So ayan, the rate is 20, 40, 60, and 80. Okay, so we have here the rate or the time given. So we have 6, 3, 2, and 1 and 1/2. So how am I able to go with this is you have to substitute it with the given formula. Okay, wherein it is T is equal to D over. You have to substitute it with the formula T is equal to D over R. Okay, so let us find the product of the rate and the time. So rate times time. So first let's have 20 times 60. That would be equal to 120. Next, 40 times 3. That is still 120. Next, 60 times 2, that is still 120, and 80 times 1 and 1/2, that is still equal to 120. Okay, so now you may note the product of the two quantities is constant, diba? So the graph on the right, or I'll be drawing a graph here that will show that when the travel time decreases, the rate of the car increases. So let's have here a graph. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we have 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and 120. So let's plot the points. So first we have 20 and 6, 20 and 6. Next is 40 and 3. Next is 60 and 2, 80 and 1 and 1/2. So when we connect these dots, ayan. So let's just assume that it's a perfectly done graph. So this is how it looks like. So this graph shows, okay, this graph shows that the travel time decreases, okay, that the travel time decreases, the rate of the car increases. So this is the time and this is the rate. Alright, so let's try another example for you to further understand what direct variation is. So we have example number 3. If y varies inversely as x and y is equal to 1/3 when x is equal to 18, find y when x is equal to 2. So again, we have here the formula y is equal to k over x. So first we have to find the value of k since we don't have the concept of variation. So substitute the values. Y is equal to 1/3 is equal to k over x, which is 18. And then we have to solve for k. So how are we going to do that? So we can solve for this one. So solve for k, we have 18 over 3 is equal to k. Paano nangyari yun is we can cross multiply this one. Okay, so thus we can simplify 18 over 3 pa. So 18 over 3 is equal to 6. So 6 is equal to k. So we already have k as the constant of variation. Now we can solve for the value of y when x is equal to 2. So let's write the equation of variation. So we have y is equal to 6 over x. This would be the equation of variation. Alright, so now we can now substitute the value. So y is equal to 6 over 2, y is equal to 3. Thus, when y is equal to 3, x is equal to 2. Okay, next one. Steps in solving an inverse variation problem. So we have to write the inverse equation of variation, substitute the known values and solve for k, replace k in step 1 by the value obtained in step number 2, and solve for the desired value. Okay, so let's have example number 4. And probably the last example for this discussion. So, a crew can build a hat in 8 days. How long would it take a crew to build crew of 4 to build the same hat? So, we have to understand the problem first. Let y be the number of days to build the hat. So, y, it's the number of days to build the house. And we have x as the number of crew. And we also have k as the constant of variation. So what are we going to do is we have to write again the equation. So we have y is equal to k over x. So we have to substitute the given values or the known values. So y again, the number of days. So we have 8 is equal to k, the missing one, over x. If you have 12 crew, you're gonna make it with 8 days. So again, cross multiply. So 8 times 12, that is 96, is equal to k. So let's write the equation of variation. So again, the equation of variation is y is equal to 96 over x. This would be the equation of variation. So after this, what are you going to do is we have to substitute 4 because the latter part, it says here how long would it take a crew of 4 to build the same hat. So number of crew is x, so we have to substitute it with x. So y is equal to 96 over 4. So when we plug it in our calculator, so 96 divided by 4, that would be equal to 24. Therefore, it will take 24 days, okay, for the crew of 4 to build a hat. Okay, so as you can see here, nung mas umonte yung crew na magagawa is dumami yung oras or yung araw na kailangan nila. Alright? So, for you to check if your answer is correct, so let's write it 12 over 4, that it is the number of days, the number of crew over the number of days equal to another number of days, number of crew rather, number of days, okay, over 8 days. Okay, so how are we going to do this? So this is 12 crew and 4 crew, and then 24 days and 8 days. Okay, so the number of crew, 12 crew is to 4 crew, and 8 days rather, 8 days to 4 days. So 12 over 4, that is 3, is equal to 24 over 8, that is also equal to 3. Therefore, it's a yes. Okay, so even the greatest were beginners. Don't be afraid to take that first step. Okay, so thank you so much everyone for listening. If you do have any questions, concerns, or violent reaction, you may message me through our Google chat. Okay, and that's it. We're done with the inverse variation. Thank you so much everyone.